3 things from Yasui and you still can't find a comfort pick? Actually, I believe Flair's Rumble is one of his comfort picks. Yeah, it is. But not being able to take down an R is so tough.
Yeah, Gnar is one of those champions that just excels at pretty much everything in the top lane right now, except for TP usage, but that's relying on the player to manage their rage. Yeah. It's not one of those gimmies where it's like, I'm going to have a good laning phase because I'm Gnar. I'm going to be able to be good in team fights because I'm Gnar. It's like, I'm going to have okay teleport usage, but if I'm a really good player and play around that, know my timings and how much rage I can generate, how quickly and at what levels, because that increases as you go up in level, how fast you get it. Really on the player there, and Chris played around that perfectly.
So, the bans flew on through again, so it's going to be that Rengar, Maokai, and Xerath. So nothing too unfamiliar from the last game. Gnar, Zed, and Syndra, though, from the side of Coast, do not want to have Chris play up against Gnar. I'm pretty sure he would have a tough time, too. That champion is very, very strong.
Yeah, Jace is still up, which is something that's a little confusing to me.
Yeah, they wanted it.
Yeah, it immediately goes through. I was sitting there going, you know what? Yasui would want to take Jace. I would assume first pick.
But they picked Corki.
But they picked Corki, which Corki right now is probably the top AD carry, considering there have been a lot of just kind of pushbacks on power for late game carries. Tristana has worse scaling now. Sivir, you know, it's kind of like, I have a little more lane pressure, but Corki's still really good. Just all the hyper carries are people that we saw being played, had some scale backs on them. We just saw Caitlyn in that last game. We saw Graves in that last game. People are experimenting with new things and trying to bring it out.
So, the Jace gets snagged up by Coast. They pick Janna as well. Sheep's comfort pick there. We're going to see him, once again, just keep applying shields and peel away.
Also, Lucian took some nerfs in this patch as well for AD ratios and mana costs on E, as well as timing. So yeah, we do see Sheep once again on the disengage, but disengage combined with poke is extremely good, because the thing that counters poke is hard engage. If you have disengage, just shut that down.
Fine. So, let's see. Jarvan goes to Thinkard again, so we'll see if he can maybe get something going for him this time. Thresh is picked up for Keith McBrief, and I like the Corki Thresh lane if they want to do it. If Yasui takes Corki mid again, I might have to have a word with him. Just a little bit, because it didn't work last time. He farmed up. Don't get me wrong, he farmed phenomenally.
Yes.
The only thing was, even though he wave cleared, they couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it was, but he was really their only wave clear tool against a team that had so much wave clear across the board with longer ranges than their counterparts on the enemy team.
So they hover over the Heimerdinger. I know Mash was just trolling a bit, but I would love to see Heimer, don't get me wrong. The Mega Turret is amazing. You know, you get those extra rocket barrage. The bouncing grenade, too, is something you don't ever want to watch out for. I love explaining Heimerdinger, but I just get crushed when they don't pick him.
Then you have to memorize all the numbers on the abilities as a play-by-play. You're just like, oh, it's the H28.
I would be like, it's just the Mega Turret. All right, but Rumble is going to come out for Chris up top. We'll see him take that one. And Lucian with the Janna. All right.
Yep. Pretty much a standard lane that we've been seeing for a very long time since Janna came back into play. And people are like, she's extremely powerful. He makes a great usage with his Light Slinger on the shield. So the fact that he gets
another
that
good
extra,
one, too.
Exactly, because he applies the Tidecaller's Blessing twice is really good.
So now thinking Corki versus Corki and Thresh versus Janna. Lucian, you got to be a little careful of the death sentences, but the shield, the harass that Janna can do, AP that you know Sheep is going to have in his kit, too, because he loves going AP on that Janna. Maybe even early Soul Stealer, we could see that come out, too.
I love that
if they do well.
I love that item. I think that item is fantastic. And if the fact that the AP scaling, like you said on Janna, is just so good, why not buy a pretty cheap AP item that just gives you more AP as you just slap shields on people?
All you do is slap a shield, run away. Slap a shield, run away. Slap a shield, run away. Let them kill, let them get the assist.
From the challenger support main. Just slap a shield, run away. Slap a shield, run away.
That's all you got to do is Janna, man. And then, you know, just Monsoon, as soon as someone jumps in, you're like, R. You're good to go. But I like to pick up in the idea of the Ahri coming into mid lane for Yasui, and then Irelia for Flares up top. That is one of his best top laners as well. Yeah,
Flares is one of the better Aurelias in this tournament. I think there's only probably like one person who even like comes close to him. Yeah,
oh man, I can't remember anymore.
Which team?
Can't remember the team either.
Oh, we got Hanser, we got Chris, we got Maknoon.
Rux.
Rux.
I don't think Rux,
but
not Rux, but
he's one of the best Aurelia players in this tournament, regardless of what we were saying before. So Yasui, he's going to pick up that Ahri for himself against Jezz. And Jezz knows this champion inside and out. Like, Ahri is his bae.
Is his bae?
Is his bae. Like, before any other assassin.
Okay. Okay. Now we just need the jungler for Impaler. Let's see what he wants to go for to counter out this Jarvan again. So just go straight back to the Impaler. To the Impaler, to the Kha'Zix.
Yeah, well, it does impale. He's got spikes.
There we go.
So Impaler played 2 games of Rengar. Now he's going to play 2 back-to-back games of Kha'Zix. He's kind of just flexing his muscles on different champions. He hasn't had to just diversify his champion pool too much. You know, he is that kind of Lee Sin main, with Rengar up there as well, because people keep banning his Lee Sin. No Lee Sin bans this game. So he's pretty much had his pick of the litter. They just are like, we saw your Rengar, it's very scary. We saw your Kha'Zix, we're still more afraid of the Rengar. And you can't throw too many bans at the jungle right now because of how potent top laners are.
Even mid lane.
Yeah.
Zed,
top lane, mid lane,
Syndra?
just draw more attention, especially in matchups like these where the mid laner on like Yasui's side and also Jez's, they have these champion pools that you're like, we don't want to deal with your huge wave clear. We don't want to deal with your assassin, Yasui. So they throw bans at those as opposed to the jungler who's trying to influence lanes.
All right, guys. So now is the time where you come in. If you guys want to tweet at us with your predictions, what you think of these picks and bans, and who you think is going to come out ahead, tweet at LOL Esports using the hashtag LCS expansion, and get your ideas out there. What you think is going to come out? Is it going to be a 3-game set? Is it going to be a 2-0? Is Coast just going to advance like that?
Yeah, 2-0, maybe 2-1. We'll have to see, because Team LoLPro, they just looked a little scattered. They were beaten and crushed kind of that game. Whereas Coast were just very methodical, playing to their strengths, playing to their style of play. And then they got another team composition this game that's kind of pokey with some disengage, but they also have some team fight prowess. The worst feeling in the world is where you're getting poked out by a Jace, slowed by a Kha'Zix, disengaged by a Janna, and then eventually when you try to do something, you're just like, we're just going to take the dragon. Rumble Ultimate comes on top of you. It's really, really bad. And Coast is the type of team that will execute that strategy very quickly and without hesitation.
I already like LoLPro's picks, though. You can facilitate Jarvan so much easier with Charm, Equilibrium Strike, Death Sentence. You pull him at the Lantern. This is already a better composition for me, at least. But, you know, Coast, like you said, poke, engage, they have it all. Yeah,
it's a little more pick-oriented here on LoLPro's team. They have some poke. They have a little bit more wave clear in terms of just Yasui's going to have all of that AP damage later on.
And they're trying to go for a little early play, get some wards down. That's going to be spotting out blue, so it could get the timer as well. If Coast don't keep mind of that, I'm sure Sheep is like, all right, it's warded. We'll make sure to not do anything crazy. And Impaler could also start red if he wants.
I don't know if that ward will actually get them the timer because it was placed at around 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah.
So it would disappear at 2. So you pretty much figure out which one he's at.
Try to track his path.
Yeah, unless he kills it in 5 seconds, he's just the most incredible jungler in the world.
Hey, man, you get those buffs from Janna
Full
Shield.
AD!
I wouldn't be surprised. And both junglers are already getting a little aggressive down here. But Flares is there, too, though. That's not the support I was looking for. But
trying to pull a noble truth with the Poppy in the bot lane.
Hey, that worked out really well.
It did work out. They were having fun with that, too. I talked to them afterwards, and they were like, that was hilarious.
The legends.
Because Otter just overextended that game. But it was a move you're supposed to do. So now we're going to see Flares actually back, walk himself up to the top lane, or is he going to TP? Is it going to be another teleport from Flares early on? It is.
Oh, it is? Oh.
It is going to be that TP.
Well, nothing's going to be pressured early on, so why not?
Yeah.
So don't miss out on anything.
It's not that big of a deal to use a teleport this early on in the game. When you use it in a couple minutes from now, then it's a problem. The thing is that if he gets poked out by Chris, he's going to have to walk it. It's a walk of shame then.
Yeah. He's got to walk it off and think about it. Think about what he messed up in lane. This bot lane already, you know? Janna, the shields, Mashmi knows how to utilize it perfectly on Lucian and just keep them pressed back. Keith McBrief is going to have a tough time on this Thresh. Janna is just so passive, you can't look for a death sentence.
It's really crazy, too, that Sheep has been defaulting to Janna more and more recently. Even though his main champion is Thresh, he was known as a Thresh player when he was having his little stint in the LCS on XDG.
And it looks like actually early on, the flash from Jesus was blown as Thinkard went from a red to level 2 gank in mid.
Yep. And sometimes that's the Jarvan route, is that you immediately go mid with that red buff and you try to make something happen. You're not usually going to get punished for it either.
It's like the early Pantheon back in the day. Back in the solo queue days.
Nobody expects it. You get ganked and you die, and people are like, who does that anymore? This isn't Season 3.
It's all chat. All chat spam. But Thinkard now with his doubles, he's looking to make the aggression happen. He is so confident in his early play. Like, he's already going towards top. Flares is doing a bunch of damage to Chris here. The 10 style, level 3. Just that true damage, man. It whittles you away, and you have a tough time dealing with it.
I want to see what he maxes first, whether it's going to be the E, the Equilibrium Strike, or the W, the hit 10 style, because we saw mix and matches at Worlds, and a lot of people were having success with maxing the Equilibrium Strike for the magic damage, and also the fact that it increased the duration of the slow and the stun, I believe up to 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's depending on how much HP you're missing, I believe.
No, you just have to be lower than them in HP, and then you stun as opposed to slow. And then whichever rank you have in it, ups the duration.
I thought it was like a percentage of her HP missing. I must have been playing it really wrong the entire time. But
Of your HP missing or theirs?
of your.
Oh, wow. So it's like a 1% long stun.
30 seconds. Let's go.
Comeback mechanic.
Exactly. But already counter jungling coming in from both sides. We saw Raze being stolen from Impaler and from Thinkard. So they're being a little aggressive. The Soul Wraith again. He has to relive the nightmare of his family being slaughtered. Game after game.
He's a Wraith, too. I'm pretty sure maybe he's already died once.
Okay.
How is a Wraith even made?
Hashtag League of Legends problems.
It's an undead.
It's an undead. Losing. Well, then how do they die in the beginning?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Maybe he just watched his family die for the second time.
Oh,
anyway,
geez.
regardless, Coast might be just standing there watching themselves kill LoLPro for a second time today.
So it's gonna be another passive game. Huh?
Segway.
Segways, indeed. Have you ever ridden a Segway?
No, I haven't.
It's fun. All right, so this top lane matchup, it looks like it's fairly even as well. I really was able to sustain up. The mid lanes, keeping even as well. There's going to be no discrepancy between Yasui and Jez's. And then down bot, again, even.
And this top lane Flares, like we said, his TP will be up before anything is really pushed into him. He is taking some decent damage there from Chris, just eating a full rotation of spells. And he has this big minion wave pushing into him, too.
Keith was looking for a death sentence there. Was Fusion just going to respond? Howling Gale is forcing out the flash. Exhaust as well comes in. Mash is just going to dash right on through with that relentless pursuit. They pop the heal. They're going to go through piercing light. Auto attack comes in and Sheep gets it. Oh, man. A breath of wind.
Meanwhile, up top, though, this huge minion wave was stacked by Chris. Impaler came around, warded inside of where the white is. And look at this, I can't even talk about because Jesse is going in.
Exhaust comes out as well. It's looking to go through the charm as Jesse is going to transform back into that Rage Dance. Shock Blast, nice juke from Yasui.
Yeah, great job from Yasui to not go immediately by the turret because that kind of just pigeonholes you into a certain route. So he backs himself off for just a second and jukes that Shock Blast acceleration gate.
So, well played from every lane as the aggression just came out simultaneously 6 minutes in. And with that dive up top, Chris is going to be feeling pretty happy. He's going to get really close to that haunting, guys. Impaler with a deep ward as well is going to try to steal this white, but cannot find it with the void spikes. And he's already found that minor level advantage.
Yep, level advantage pretty much across the board here for the members of Coast. This bottom lane, the aggression paying off with Fusion, still level 4. And then the mid lane, Yasui, just hitting his 6 now. That does give him an ultimate advantage over Jess's because Jace ultimate doesn't really do anything for you.
You don't really want to level it up early either. Just get as much burst as possible.
Just do as much damage, get as much of your kit as you can. Just take it to the enemy. Chris, meanwhile, he now has his ultimate.
Look at that.
He knows the flash is down too.
Yeah, and Flares is going back in on this.
Up.
Thinkard is coming from the river, so this could be interesting. I believe Chris could win this with Impaler coming up too.
Yeah, and the fact that Flares is a little bit behind in levels is going to be really big. No flash. Impaler off on the wings.
So Flares, he's by himself. Thinkard is not coming up. This could be a very, very important kill.
All Chris has to do is land the Equalizer and some harpoons, and then it's almost a guaranteed kill.
So,
there he goes.
Equalizer comes on through. Flares is going to pop that ultimate, try to sustain up a bit. He tries to turn for the Equilibrium Strike, does get it onto Impaler. They're going to keep the Flame Spitter going, and this dive is not going to work out if they tried.
He stunned the right person there. Flares using the Equilibrium Strike onto Impaler and not Chris, because Impaler's the one who has more slows at close range.
Yep.
After the harpoons had been used by Chris.
He's got to be careful not to die after escaping that gank. So he'll eat a little bit of the Electro Harpoons, but he's got to be mindful. And Thinkard's not even 6, so Cataclysm isn't even relevant in this mid lane.
Jezza still has his flash available too to deal with Yasui, who brought the Ignite, so he's looking for that aggressive lane, looking for that pressure.
And the pressure is mounting from this Rumble, man. Flares can't lane.
Well, Flares end up backing, and he bought 2 Doran's Blades as his items to deal with what's going to be soon a Haunting Guise from Chris. Aurelia's that have to buy those items. It definitely changes the timing on your Trinity Force, and you're just like, I want to survive in lane. But he's just kind of CSing against Chris, and they're even.
Calling comes out from Mash, just a little bit of poke coming through. Instead of prioritizing that farm, he wants to get Wiz Fusion out of that lane as soon as possible. And we're not going to see anything crazy build-wise. You know, it's just going to be the Infinity Edge for Mash, and then the Trinity Force for Wiz. And with that Pink Ward, there's nothing there to spawn out that dragon, and it looks like they'll be able to sneak it in.
Yeah, LoLPro just has to make a call and get there very quickly. Looks like Thresh was kind of fainting towards that side, but no. Support's gone in the bot lane. They leave the Lucian to just follow if there is a problem. And that's just a free dragon for Coast at that point. They didn't really give up too much at all. No lane pressure was given up in the making of that dragon.
No, that early first blood coming in from Sheep helps him out so much. He gets that early sight stone. He's able to keep the wards out and keep complete vision control on the spot side of the map.
Yasui, he's trying to keep pressure on. He does have a CS advantage here in the mid lane, which is the only thing he really has going for. But there's the charm!
Flag and Dragon. Oh, he missed the combo, but he goes in with the Cataclysm afterwards anyway and just going through with the Spirit Rush.
He's gonna eat another!
Picks the kill, and oh, the turret is gonna be able to pick off Jezzy's.
Thinkard missing the Flag and Drag combo, and then having the Cataclysm afterwards,
cost
not getting the
life.
knockup. Yeah, it definitely cost him his life there, Jezzy with the flash away. So Yasui now has a big advantage in this lane, though, in the mid, because he has Ignite still, because he has Flash still. If he lands Charms onto Jez's, it's pretty much a chunk guarantee to about half HP.
And in the meantime, Wisfusion was forced back with Keith McBrief, so Mash just gets some free time alone with that turret and just takes it down.
It's still about a 2.6k gold lead for Coast already at the start of the game. These Dragons have been doing wonders for them in the early game. Wisfusion not getting him.
No. He had an auto attack ready to go there, but I guess he clicked the ground instead and it went straight to the creep.
Instead of using his E towards the bush, he just used it towards the minion wave there, threw a missile in, and was just like, okay, I guess they're not there, because he just barely missed them. Because they both back, this is some pressure on this turret, and Thinkard's going to come up and not just get a gank on a champion, it's gank on the turret. Never saw this coming.
Attack on turrets. So they won't be able to take this one out if Sheep gets in time for the shield. Yep, there it goes. And the TP coming in for Chris behind. Oh, that Shrine Rush ward. Monsoon used to disengage.
Oh,
he stopped the Flag and Drag. Oh, no, he didn't actually. He knocked the card back. The Equalizer comes through. Chris picked up that one kill. Looking for more. They're going under Keith McBrief. Harpoon slowing him down. They're going to toss the kill over to Bash, and he does pick up that one. Looking for more. Wisfusion gets ignited, and Sheep is just kiting away. Howling Gale connects, and a double kill for Mashmade.
That was an incredible teleport by Chris, but also at the same time, Sheep used his Howling Gale to stop the lantern. It was incredible.
That was a lantern.
That was a lantern. He was taking the lantern and he Howling Galed him out of it.
Oh, Impaler's is going to come in and stealth now, looking for Yasui, but he's just Spirit Rushing away, trying to get that orb. The Ignite's sticking away. He does pick up the kill. Flashes, but a flash into response from Impaler. The orb does connect and he dies to the turret. A double kill and a 2-for-1.
So close, just bloody, just everybody coming out of the gates at this point in the game. It's like mid-game, fight, fight, fight. Everybody's going really hard now.
Gotta say, some really good aggression coming out, and even better play. Yasui, the child prodigy, man. Once he hit 17, he was ready to play in the Challenger Series. Challenger scene, and now they're looking for Thinkard.
Oh!
That damage, so huge coming in with the shield and a pickaxe and a BF sword.
It's a fadeaway light slinger there.
Yep.
Just, here, take some light.
So, he's 3-0-2 as well on this Lucian down bot. Chris is also pressuring Flares out. He doesn't have Equalizer up just yet, but when he has it, Flares is most likely going to die.
Yeah. Flares does have his flash, though. You know, he could flash away from... But Chris, his play in this top lane, his teleport usage has been so good. When I was talking to people about Chris, they were always saying, you know, he's not, like, the most flashy top laner. His biggest strength was his gank assistance in lane and also his teleport usage. So he's not like, I'm going to try to all-in you all the time. He's like, no, I'm going to be very calculated about this. And I actually think Chris has been getting better as he's been playing. He was in the LCS at one point on Velocity, and I've actually just seen improvement from him since then.
Just non-stop. He's one of the most consistent top laners in the Challenger scene. So, using his experience in the LCS fairly well, they're going to be able to get this tier 1 down, and Flares, he used his teleport earlier on, so he couldn't get back to that lane in time to save it.
Yeah, and it really just shows how good his teleport usage is, and how much Flares has kind of been off on his when you just compare the two side by side in this game and what they've been getting out of their teleports. I get back to lane for Flares. Chris affects a different lane, doesn't lose too much, stays even in CS, but comes up with kills and assists and just gets his team ahead. It's a team effort, and that's a team fight-oriented summoner spell.
So, with the TPs down and dragging up in a minute and 40 seconds, we're going to see who can prioritize what, as this red buff man is just being stolen again, possibly. Mash is looking for it. The Demacian standard is not enough. He couldn't get in range to smite, as it was on cooldown as well. So Mash just taking full control with Sheep here.
Well, he's also just level 6.
Oh,
Thinkard just now hits 7 with Wisfusion.
He's going for these golems.
I don't know how much catch potential they actually have, though. It would have to be like a quick Howling Gale.
They're contemplating it. They're like,
No.
yeah, they know he's Valkyrie, so they're like, yeah, we won't.
Oh, Wisfusion knows, because he's like, why was it walking that way? That, like, he de-aggroed that golem, and it's like, I'll revert towards this bush. Nope.
Interestingly enough, they're going to lose their blue buff on top of this. Try to toss it over to Jesse's, or just default to giving it to Impaler with his smite.
Just the other golem going over to... No golems are safe on this map.
Nope. So
Blue buff still up for Coast, and that will most likely go over to Chez's to help him stack that tier.
I gotta say, though, this is like a repeat of last game, except there's a little bit more deaths, about, 2 more. Yeah. So they're taking full control of the map. They're getting the buffs, they're getting the blues and reds, and just taking control of the Dragon Pit as well. Like, this is more calculated play from Coast.
So something I want to bring attention to here for LoLPro is Yasui. 3-1-0, highest CS in the game, has his DFG. There is pick potential here for this Ahri if he can catch somebody.
Yep.
If he finds somebody, it would get a big advantage for LoLPro in a Dragon, and that could get them back into this game. Chris is kind of the catalyst here for Coast. Mash has a lot of damage, but Chris is going to be the one kind of setting up these fights and forcing LoLPro into a position that Mash can take advantage of. So right now, watch Yasui, watch his picks and what he sets up, or if ThinkCard goes too hard, and then on Coast, watch where the equalizer comes out and watch the positioning of Mash.
They're just going straight for Dragon here. This is going to be a big fight. Teleport is available for Flares. It just came off cooldown, but it's just too slow. The Dragon just gets immediately bursted down.
Yep. No way to get a pick there. No bush setups from LoLPro. Nothing. So they just give over that Dragon. They trade a turret for it. It's a 5k gold advantage 15 minutes into the game here. Flares continuing to push this top lane. This Aurelia is not showing up in fights, and he's not even going to get a Trinity Force first item. He's getting chunked out too hard. He goes for the Hex Drinker. 2 Doran's Blade, Hex Drinker. Now he's on a Phage. He's just now starting towards his early/mid-game power spike on Aurelia, which is extremely potent, but now it's going to be so delayed that by the time he gets it, Coast is going to have tools to deal with it.
Oh, they're going to try to deal with his fusion down here. Keith didn't even see him going down to the brush. The red buff is going to slow him down. A good Lantern immediately coming out, saving Wiz. So, I like what they're trying to do. They're trying to be sneaky, but, taking a safer AD in that Corki is just really strong.
Yeah, the safer AD and Corki is a really good pickup there. I was really surprised that they didn't first pick the Jace for themselves because Yasui's comfortable on that champion, and also taking it away from Jess's because it just fills his wave clear poke type of routine. You're banning out things like Xerath. You're leaving up an AD poke champion for him.
But I believe the Ahri is a good response to Jace either way because he doesn't have any innate escape ability with a jump or anything like that. He's got the gate, but you have to turn around and actually put that down, and Ahri can just chase no problem. So the mid lane matchup worked out pretty well for him. He's got that advantage, he's got 3 kills, but with everybody grouping up from the side of Coast, they want to try to pressure down this mid as it's the last tier 1 standing.
Yeah, but also at the same time, when you pair that Jace with something like a Janna, it's really hard to get in, and once you get in, Rumble's going to have something to say about your backline.
Yep. He'll zone you away with an equalizer, and we'll see if he can bring that to fruition. As everybody is still grouping around towards mid, they're just playing that poke game, man. It's like Jezza's got lucky in a game of ARAM, and she's like, all right, shock blasted down mid all day.
Jace is like one of the only champions that I can go deathless in an ARAM with and be like, I still got my starting items.
They use the equalizer, the zoning equalizer to come out, and that's just a free tier 1. They can't do anything. Destiny's connects mid jump, Charm on top of it, and Paler's gonna take a little bit of damage, but a good shield from Sheep as can't really do much off that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the fact that he's going for the Hex Drinker next on Impaler's side means he's not going to get chunked out too quickly by Yasui. Yasui is really relying on that DFG at this point, but he hasn't gotten to use it yet.
Nope.
Highest CS in the game, DFG, ready to rock on Ahri, but the positioning has been something that is really rough to get because Coast likes to group.
They like to get those early groups and try to just keep forcing the objectives like they have been. So, an example of that was that tier 1. And trying to catch people out with Ahri against Janna is still pretty hard. Unless Janna gets charmed, you're not going to see anybody dying. She's just going to monsoon you away during one of the spirit rushes. She can interrupt with Howling Gale, so...
Oh, we've been seeing Sheeps play on Janna today.
It's crisp.
Yeah,
clean.
His flash monsoon to just spread the 3 people out at that bottom tier 1 turret, and then also interrupting the Lantern with a Howling Gale?
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. That's one of the harder things to do on the Janna. But as everybody retreated from mid and finally gave up their siege, that was just a time for LoLPro to sneak in and get themselves their second turret of the game.
Flair still just being reserved for that top lane farm. He wants to do what Aurelia's should be doing at this point. Just get his Trinity Force. He's really behind on that item, considering what he bought early just to survive.
Yeah, it's so rough for him right now, but he's found a minor
they're trying to collapse on him, though.
Uh-oh. If they do pick up this kill, it could be pretty big. The Shock Blast does not connect. Yeah. There's Flash right through the white wall, and he's fine.
Yeah, that's the thing, is he's so far
Big
up.
card might not be fine though. Shock Blast not going to connect through the gate though, but he gets chunked out. It doesn't
Here comes
matter.
Mash.
Was there, picks him up with an easy crit in the shiv. Culling coming through, not connecting, just tickling Flares a bit, but a beautiful equalizer comes in from Chris. Flares turns around, he just submits himself to the Mash God, and that is going to be one quick kill after another as Mashme's zoning away more. They give him this blue buff. Sheep goes over the wall. Howling Guild doesn't connect, and Yasui's barely able to get away.
And when you want to pick people off like that with this team composition
Look
that
at
LoLPro has, yeah, the thing is too is that Yasui could have flashed, because he flashed a second after his Orb of Deception came back.
Yep.
Could have flashed to reposition it to hit Sheep because he moved off the left, but at the same time, he still gets away with his life. But look at that. It looks like Coast is going straight for this Baron. There's not much answer here from LoLPro that's even possible.
Nope, without Spirit Rush, no flash for Yasui. They can't even attempt to try to steal this. As it comes in, TP comes out from Flares. Wait a minute. Okay, cancel it. Charm going to stop Mash from chasing, and they do force a disengage. Oh, Keith McBreathe packing it up, going down back to the base, and oh, it's not looking good again.
Yeah, when they kill your top laner and then he TPs in and then he cancels it, that's a go sign for that team, because they're going to go, oh, okay, he's actually not coming. 4 on 5, go.
Yep.
He's back at the base.
That was a 3 on 5 as well.
Yeah.
So
it's even worse.
Even worse indeed. But that's a Baron up. That's Coast taking a strong lead at 9,000 gold.
Even if you can't count well, it's still a good fight for your team.
How many people were there again? I don't know.
Less than us. That's all you need to know.
It's all about the odds. Heavily in the favor of Coast right now. 11-3 into kills. They've been stealing buff after buff, and the ward control, man, their vision game is on point. That whole blue area has 5 wards in total all over it.
Yeah, and you can see pink wards across the inventory here for Coast. Once again, Mash, he's got the blue pot. This guy likes his CDR.
It works well in Lucian. Don't get me wrong, more piercing lights, you're able to pursue even faster. So, this tier 1, is it going to go down? Range creeps, they're the heroes. And they do get something, at least for LoLPro.
It's a really uphill battle now for LoLPro. 8K down over Coast, who's a team that doesn't give up gold leads. They just, once they're in the lead, they know how to close games out. They don't fall prey to where people are like, okay, we're not going to be able to close this out. We don't know how to wave clear, how to split between lanes. Coast knows how to do that. They just play it very methodically. They're like, all right, there's no rush. We don't have to push that yet. You don't have to face tank this turret. Let's get Baron first, guarantee our victory, because it's a very important game, and you don't want to have to skid around these things and these kind of chance factors where what if they engage while I'm taking the turret and I can't get out and they mess up my jump or something.
Yeah, they're not the team that's going to dive at tier 3.
They don't
feel like,
They
so
rarely do.
Nope. Tier 2 goes down bot, and this is going to be the continual push. They still have that Baron for about half its duration, and they're going to keep going. Culling comes through, chunking away, looking for Yasui with some of that damage. He's already down about below half, and the push is on, and that blue pot was used, so lower cooldown on Culling. Just keep using it. While Flares, he's filling that pushing role. He's just gone straight for his boots after that mallet ends. They use the equalizer to zone Think Card and keep it brief away. This is just great play for them, not risking anything, just keeping it going strong, and this is going to be a free inhibitor for them, and if they really want to keep pushing, Flares doesn't have TP, so he'd have a long way to go back. Yeah,
ThinkCard's got nothing this game. 0-4-1, 70 CS Jarvan. He just now got his boots too, and he just now got a Warden's Mail for himself. This guy has no HP in the tank. This Jarvan doesn't do damage. He's not very durable at all, and if he is durable, Rumble's still just going to melt right through him.
Yep. Rylai's, Sork Shoes, and now a Leandri's picked up, so...
basically doing true damage to this Jarvan.
Yeah, there's no Locket either, so there's not Magic Resist coming in. It's tough. No Magic Resist at all, actually, coming out, except for the Mercury Treads on Flares.
Yes, that's a really, really big thing for Chris. He's able to just shred through this lineup. We saw how much damage that Equalizer just did to that team. 10k gold advantage. Coast, man... you know, there's that saying where it's like, oh, you give them a finger, they take a whole arm or whatever. Now it's like, you even look at them, they're just going to take your soul. They're just taking all of it.
The Thresher's on the other team, though. Plus is even out. Wait a minute.
Coast just don't let up once they get a lead. They're a team that knows how to push it. And I've already said it once before, but I can't say it enough. So I'll say it again.
Just keep on drilling into people's minds that Coast will not risk a thing when they're ahead.
Yeah, they play very methodically. But it's not boring either, right? They're just like, they're constantly doing something on the map. They constantly have an objective in their sights. They're very focused. on what they want. They always have a purpose when they're moving around the map. Like right now, their purpose is get some ward coverage, stop them from getting to this tier 2, push up with Chris, get the wave clear, and get to this turret, and then take it out with Mash.
Yep, they're getting straight towards this turret now. This tier 2 is going to be forfeit, and LoLPro, this is the final
Flares.
straw. Yeah, Flares is just pushing away. He's got to have that Trinity Force at this point. Yasui gets poked out completely by that culling, and this tier 3 might just be forfeit, and the inhibitor might follow suit. They're using the Monsoon to heal up straight on through. They use the Equalizer to zone as well. Keith McBrief looking for a death sentence. They get the Flag and Dragon. A Cataclysm out of 1, but they just flash out. It doesn't matter. MatchMe is dominating 6-0 and 3. It looks like this tier 3 is going to fall, and oh man. LoLPro, man, Flares, he still hasn't backed.
Nope. No Trinity Force for him yet, and that's going to be a turret going down very quickly. Jez is with the Hypercharge.
Death Sentence connects, and Paler just jumps on in. The crit's coming out. Mash picks up a kill. Looking for more. He tries to get the piercing line in. Flares is finally into the fight. He's doing what he can. He's forcing out some spells, but they get the inhibitor, no problem. He's going to try to chase this through with that newly picked up Trinity Force. It doesn't matter. Chris just melts on through. He's on a killing spree. Gotta take down Wiz Fusion, and Flares, he's got to go back and heal. Yasui is there. It doesn't matter. Shock Blast from Jez is able to snipe off that one, and a 3 for none. Inhibitor, tier 3. I don't know what to say.
You can say, Ghosts look pretty good. They look pretty good. Could be a scientific thing too. You could be like, judging by my observations, I think they're pretty good.
So LoLPro, they're on the back foot. They're going to have the problem of dealing with those Super Creeps pushing on down on the side lanes, and then once they get towards mid, Coast can just shove on in.
Yeah, and Coast have hit some power spikes too. The Muramana in the inventory, the last Whisper for Jez is he is ready to just poke people out. And he has a QSS just in case he gets caught. Yep. Which is really big, because when you catch a Jace, you're like, all right, we got their backline, we got their poke. Now we can finally siege them. At this point, he's going to be very safe. It's going to be very hard to deal with him. And even if LoLPro do catch him a couple times, it's going to take a lot for them to get back into this game. 40 seconds on Baron, but I don't even think Coast needed at this point. They have super minions pushing on both sides of the map. They just have this middle turret in their sights, and they're ready to rock. Okay, so they forced the QSS out with that death sentence, but again, nothing they can really look to do here. Yeah, it's that max second W on Jess's there. So he has that hypercharge, 130% damage for 2.5 attack speed, 3 attacks. You're chunking a turret, 390% of your attack damage in like 1.2 seconds. Yep. Really, really potent. And now they just make their way down towards bot. Why push in mid? There's a turret there when you could just make your way down towards a nice deal of the day in that free inhibitor bot. And even the Electro Harpoons from Chris are just whittling away. Look at Keith McBrief can't do anything. He's just destroyed in the health pool, and they're taking some time with this. They're getting poked out just a bit. They have that barrier region helping them out quite a bit, and that is the inhibitor with that last auto attack going down. Shock Blasts are connecting. Thinkard and Yasui. Oh man, this is a dirty combo. Genesis is playing phenomenally right now. Look at this type of just methodical play. They're going back and forth. They're like, all right, looks like Baron's live. And they don't actually have a Baron buff on them at this moment. It's just a little graphical error. Or a graphical just kind of bug. Well, they're gonna long Baron duration. I know, that Baron's lasted forever. New Baron's crazy. So, they're going to go get a Baron buff and for themselves, and then they're going to start sieging back up. They're going to go towards that mid lane. Just the efficiency of this team. They're like a lion. They kind of just bide their time, and then they jump. This is the African plane right now. And the innocent zebra or LoLPro with backwards culling through the gate. He's having fun. You know, they already feel like victory is in their grasp. Death Sentence connected from Keith McBrief, but they can't chase up onto a Impaler. They can't really do anything right now. It's just the slow, painful death. They're going straight for the jugular. And they do take that tier 3 down. They're looking for something. Keith McBrief is going to take a bunch of damage coming in from this Kha'Zix. Impaler doing some work. The Equalizer used to zone out with Fusion to do some damage. They use the Cataclysm in it, but he just gets bursted. It doesn't matter. Chris is on a rampage. Shock Blast connected. The Ardent Blaze, the side of it connecting. Legendary Coast Smash Me. And that is going to be a double kill for him, and it looks like this is going to be all but game. Yasui going to get chunked out by this Flame Spitter. Chris can't secure the kill, but that's it. Next is going to fall, and that's going to be a 2-0 for Coast as they chase down into the final bloodthirsty killing flares. They're just padded KDAs at this point. Coast, you can see from the backwards culling. It's a choo-choo train. They're really just going all around right now, just kind of having a victory lap around that base for themselves, but they're going to end it right here. They're going to go after this Nexus, and it looks like Coast going to take it 2-0. Oh, shit dies! Ooh. That's his first death, man. He had 14 assists, 1 kill. There we go. Finally, Coast decide to just put them out of their misery and say, you know what, it's over. It's 2-0.
Yep.
And they move on to be in that top 4, so they will compete in the offline portion of the tournament. Best of 5s, double elimination, and they are tournament favorites to make it out of that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did advance. After that performance, man, what do you do against that?
Yeah, so far 4-0 throughout the round stages, throughout the groups and the brackets. So they are looking extremely strong.
Indeed. If they keep up the methodical play, if they keep up the vision control, the good buff steals as well were...
That's a jungle control too.
So much power.
And the fact that him and Jez have synergized to the point where it's like, all right, even if you're getting ganked, communicate to me, I will go somewhere else, and then I can make a play there. And they're very okay. Like, they kind of feel like they're top of the food chain, in my opinion. I think they kind of feel like everybody has to come up to their level and meet them. So they're like, we can just play our game, sit back, we're fine, we'll relax, and then we'll beat you late game unless you do something crazy to meet us. Because they are just like, our normal skill level, just where their resting point is higher than what other people have. It's a team, they're very cohesive, and I really think this is a Coast that needs to be feared moving on further into this tournament too.
Yep, so that's going to do it for that match, as now Coast is going to advance 2-0 over Team LoLPro. But don't go anywhere. There is actually more games coming, as it is going to be Team Enemy taking on Fusion right after this, and we'll see you after the break.